Hey guys, welcome back. My name's T, and this is the Breakthrough Code channel. Today we're going to be going through the most important loops in C Sharp, in my opinion, obviously. I say important when I mean the most used. In my travels through various companies and my own personal experience through my own work or code reviewing, my peers' work. I've tended to see, if that's a word, tended, yeah, to see or come across these two loops most used frequently in the industry, and that's the for loop and the for each loop. Okay, so let's start with looking at the for loop. So the for loop, okay, this is a loop that executes one or more statements multiple times as long as the loop condition is met. So this is how it looks. Okay, so it's pretty much set up with everything we need to manage the condition. So we have the variable that we use to count the iterations. Okay, obviously this is the for keyword. Okay, then we have the variable that you use to count the iterations, and it's already been initialized for us. Okay, then here we have our condition variable that's used, or condition statement that's used to manage the amount of iterations or the amount of times the code block in the for loop is executed. Okay, and then here we have the iterator itself that iterates the variable we initially created. Okay, so unlike the while loop that we've looked at in the previous video, where we had to set up our iteration and condition variables, this one kind of comes pre-assembled with everything we need to just get stuck in with the iteration, basically, as long as we know the length of what we're iterating through. Okay, so let's review it in more detail with a flow diagram. So just to make it a bit more simpler for you to understand. Okay, so we have our initialization. So like I said in the previous slide, we have this, and this section only happens once to initialize the variable. Okay, as it says here. So once it's initialized, we go into the condition, which is this area here. So we never really go back to the initialization once it's initialized. So we check the condition. Is that condition true? If it is, then we obviously execute the code block. Okay, and then what we do is then we increment the incremental variable. Let's go back again. Oop, no, previous. Okay, here we go. We increment this variable that we created again, and then we check the condition again. We increment the variable and then check the condition again to see if it's still true. If it is, we go back in, come back out again, increment it, check again, and keep doing that until this appears to be false. And once that condition is false, then we go to the code after the loop. So we basically come out of the loop and execute whatever's after that. Okay, and we can head over to Visual Studio, and I'll show you this loop in action. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array of variables. Okay, so string. An array of names. Sorry, a string array of names. Okay, so we're going to create string array, call it names. Okay, then we're going to say that's basically a new string array. Okay, and then we're going to populate this string array with a couple of names. So we'll have James. We'll have let's have Sonia. Let's have Rohit. Cool. So we have these guys. Okay, cool. Then again, what we want to do is we want to kind of print these names to the console. Okay, without having to write because we could do basically console write line and then square bracket 0 to access James, then copy that, and then do it 1 to access Sonia, so on and so forth. And that's it. That would work, because if I run that, you'd see in this scenario, you'd see James printed out to the console, but that's a lot of work, and obviously the bigger this array, the more work it is. So let's basically see a quicker way of doing that. We can write a for loop and get IntelliSense to do most of the work for us. So we've created our a variable there, the length. Okay, so so basically, what are we going to compare our length to, our variable to see if it's if the condition is still true. So since we want to iterate through this 3 times, we can just write the variable, the number 3 here, I believe, if I'm correct. So that will iterate it through it. Yep, it should iterate through the loop. Let's check it out. Let's check it out actually, because I'm pretty sure it does. If I do a console.writeLine, and then this time I can just use the iterating value to give me each item I need in the loop. So let's run this in the array. Okay, cool. So 3, yes. Okay, so first of all, we want this to be less than 3. So the first one will be 0, and it'll give us James. Second one, Sonia, and third one, Rohit. Great. Okay, cool. But if we didn't know the length of this array, okay, so it was a collection, like a list collection, we didn't know how many items was in the array at this point, we could just do names. So let's type in names dot, and obviously the array type has a function that is able to get us the length here, and that'll give us the length of the array, which is basically what we typed in, which was 3. So if we run that again, it should still give us the same outcome of printing all the names out to the console. Brilliant. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the PowerPoint and check out the Foreach loop. Okay, is that this one? No, Foreach loop. Okay, cool. So the Foreach loop. So this is a real popular one, probably the most popular I've used. Okay, this basically iterates items in a collection like an array or a list. Okay, this is regarded as a much easier loop to read. Okay, and you can see there it's pretty straightforward. Okay, if we go through the code block, you can see we use the for each keyword instead of for. Okay, and then we declare each iterated item. So in this case, it's that shouldn't be an int. We'll call it int this time, but it should be string car. Okay, and then we declare or we get the iterated. We declare each iterated item, and then we declare the collection we wish to iterate. We wish to get the iterated items from. Okay, making use of the in keyword as well. So this is a collection of cars, and we want to get each car from the collection of cars. Okay, and then we have each item basically each item we have here, we execute a code block of or a block of code for each item. Okay, so that's very simple. Okay, but let's review that in a flow diagram, even more simple. So basically, we start the array. Okay, and then we for each element in the collection. So at the start of the array, okay, grab an element out of that collection, put it in here, and then we execute some code for that one. Then go back to the next one. As you can see here, grab an item for the collection, execute the loop body, go back to grab another one. If there is one, grab it, execute code body, go back and grab another one. If there isn't one, we execute out of the for each loop. Okay. For each loop. Okay, so let's check that out in Visual Studio. So we'll get rid of this for now. Okay, this time we will create a string array of cars. String array of cars. That's what I meant to type last time. Okay, equals new string array. Okay, let's fill that up for us. We'll have a Ford. We'll have a BMW. We'll have a Mustang. There we go, Mustang. cool. Oh, actually, let's stick a Tesla in. Why not Tesla? I like those cars. Cool. So we've got a Tesla. Okay, so again, we've got that issue where we want to print all the cars out to the console. How do we do that? Well, let's do that with a Foreach loop this time. Okay, so we use the Foreach keyword. Got IntelliSense to do most of the plumbing for us. Okay, so it's saying here, what's the collection? Well, the collection is cars. Okay, so we stick that there. And then what are we going to call the collection? So in this instance, we'll call it a, oh, what have I done there? String. We'll call it car, obviously. Okay, and then what we're going to do each time we get the car, well, we will print each car to the console. I think that's the car, each car variable to the console. Okay, let's run that. I think that should work. Brilliant. So we've got all our cars printed out to the console as expected. So let me introduce you to some keywords that can be very helpful in loops. Okay, they're the break and continue keywords. Okay, so the break keyword can be used to jump out of a loop, and it's most effective when used with a condition to check if that condition has been met. Okay, and then the continue keyword is used to break out of one iteration of a condition. One iteration if a condition is met, but still continues with the loop. Okay, so if we head back over to Visual Studio, I can show you that with some for loops. Okay, so let's have a for loop that basically prints out, you know, from 1 to 10. I guess that would probably be the easiest way for you guys to understand this. Okay, so we've got the length. You've got the length. I want it to print from 1 to 10. Okay, console.writeLine and print I, the variable I, and I think that should go to 10. Let's have a look. Print the numbers 1 to 10. Oh, of course, it is it's 9. So let me it prints 10 numbers, but it starts from 0. So let's start it from 1, and it should print to, ooh, why is it printing? Because obviously it needs to be 11. There we go. Cool. So it's going to print from 1 to 11. I should have left it at 10. Leave it at 10 and make it less than or equal to. That way it's going to print to 10. Great. Cool. Now I'm going to say I don't want to print any number that is divisible by 2. So if I go if hang on, I'll put that underneath here. Actually, I don't know why I've put it on top. If I go, I don't want to print any number. I'm going to use break to show that. If we don't want to print any, no, actually, sorry. No. I'm going to do break first. Okay. So I don't know why I've jumped to continue first. So let's do break first. So the break keyword. So we want to come out of this loop if a condition is met. Okay. So let's say, even though we print from 1 to 10, we want to say, no, actually, let's print, we stop it at 5. So if I equals 5, let's come out of this loop. Okay. So that should only print 1 to 5. Okay. So let's run that, and instead of getting 1 to 10, we get 1 to 5, because when it gets to 5, it's going to come into this condition, check this condition. Well, when I equals 5, basically, it's going to check this condition and say, whoa, it equals 5. What are we going to do? We're going to break. So we come out of the loop, and then we execute anything below this line here if there's anything to execute. But in this case, there wasn't. Okay, so cool. I mean, that pretty much sums up a break keyword. But in the sense of a continue keyword, we can again print out all numbers that aren't divisible by 2, and we can do that by using the modulus sign like that. I think, is that how you do it? Wait a minute. What am I doing? Okay, sorry. Forgot the remainder. what remainder? So if I divided by 2, if if I is divisible by 2, which means that it obviously doesn't have any remainder, I don't know why I forgot about that, then we want it to come out of this for loop for that particular value of I, but then continue for the rest. So we'll do a continue here. So what we want is that, say for example, in the first one, I divided one, if I equals 1 and it's divided by 2, it won't equal 0. So it will definitely not meet this condition, not go into the continue, and it will print 1. Then it goes to next one. I will equal 2. I divided by 2 definitely equals 0. So it will go in here and skip printing 2 to the console. So let's check that out, see if that works. Here we go. So we don't get 2, 4, 6, and 8, obviously, because they're all divisible by 2 without a 0 remainder. So we get all the other ones. Okay. I mean, we can get the opposite if we want to get the even numbers between 1 and 10. We can do that, and let's check that out. Okay, and there we go. So we got that. Perfect. Okay. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please smash the like button. If you learned something, please leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good day, guys.